basic video about how to shoot slot cars using an iPhone. I don't have an Android to show because I only have an iPhone, and if you have an Android, I'm sorry, I'm sure there's other videos out there that might show you how to take pictures with your phone, but this is not one of them. Basically, there's several things that are really important when you're shooting slot car pictures. You want the subject to be as much in the center of the frame as possible. You want to zoom in as much as possible. Still show the complete car if that's what you're trying to do. Like if you want to take pictures for eBay or for social media, you can do that. And basically what you do is you zoom in, fill the frame with what you're shooting pictures of, as you see here. Tap and hold. That locks the exposure in, that locks the focus in, and you can drag up and down on your iPhone on the screen to get the exposure, the lightness and darkness just right, and then take the picture. It's just that easy. If you don't have an expensive tripod like I do, you can an expensive tripod. It's not really all that expensive. This is just a little tabletop tripod that I use that I used for this case to show kind of how I take pictures. And these cost nothing. You can get something like this at Walmart. They're maybe $20. They come with the iPhone clamp on top, or the phone clamp on top. You can see that it just holds the camera nice and steady. That's one of the keys, is having a nice steady background, having a nice steady camera, as well as having one type of light source. Now you say, but Dave, you have these expensive lights, and I do. You can see here the lights I have are studio lights that I've had for years, and I use these generally not as lights that are static like this, but these are flashes technically that I use to do photos with. But for this case, these can just be any standard light source, any single type of light source. If you want to use desk lights, you can use desk lights with little silver reflectors. The key is to get the same kind of light source, a nice clean background. Like I have a studio background, but you can also, and I'm getting out a piece of construction paper here. You can also use. Hey, I'm a photographer, not a videographer. Give me a break. You can use construction paper that you get at Michael's, or probably Walmart, wherever. You put the slot car on the background, center it up. Look at that. It's just a phone. It's not that hard. It's already exposed, but let's go ahead and expose it again. You hold it down. It goes zap, zap like you see. Make it a little darker in my case because I want to get, and this isn't perfectly framed because I'm trying to do this with just one hand here, but then take the picture. What you have is a nice, sharp picture that is mostly filled the image of what you wanted. There's not a lot of extraneous crap around it to distract you. This is just a picture of a slot car on a base, but you can take the slot car off of the base, put it on a piece of track, do the exact same thing. The main thing is to get it on a table, put your phone on a tripod, something to hold it nice and still while you're trying to take pictures, because any kind of shakiness that you see is going to ruin a picture. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, oh, well, I'm sorry about the shaky picture. Well, it's just a picture with your phone. If it's that shaky, redo it, please. It's not that hard. Spend a little bit of time. Take a good picture. And like I said, if you don't have expensive lights, just use two of the same type of light, one on each side of a desk, of a flat surface that you want to take a picture of. Having one come in from this angle, one come in from the other angle. They can be two of the same type of desk light, whether it's the bright, any kind of bright table light that you have. If there's a reflector where you can kind of direct the light towards your subject, and even if you can't, if you have very bright lights, you just put one on either side, but the same type of bulb, because you don't want there to be a difference in the color temperature. And that's the whole key, a nice sharp picture. And that's really the whole key. And like I said, you can just get this is just a piece of paper. I got this at Michael's. It cost $1.50 maybe, I don't even know. But any kind of craft store, you can get this. And if you have a white slot car or a lighter colored subject, you might want to shoot it like I've done here on a black background, because what you get is, and this is tapping this, well, you can see it's the exact same thing that you just saw. That's the picture I just took, and trust me, it's perfectly exposed and it's perfectly sharp. But if you have a light object on a light background, what happens is sometimes it's going to want to expose and make the white background too gray and yucky looking. But if you have it on a dark background and then you expose for your subject, and that's how you expose right there. You just tap and hold, and there it's just happened to have given me pretty much the perfect exposure. And it's going to give you a nice crisp picture, even with your phone, not with some expensive camera like the pro quality cameras that I have, or even just any kind of digital camera. A phone, any phone that's made within the last 5 years is going to be more than sufficient to take pretty much any kind of studio picture. The key is a tripod. Getting a nice clean background to put something on. Clean meaning there's not a lot of other things in the background. It's just a plain background. There's no objects in the background. It gives you a nice simple thing to take your pictures against, rather than a busy background of a slot car track or something like that. And then getting nice bright light, at least two light sources, one on each side of the subject. That's pretty much it.